You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at Lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
You're listening to Common Sense Radio with A.J. Davis on the Lanterns Radio Network.
Welcome to the program, folks. Tonight, my name is A.J. Davis, and you are listening to Common Sense Radio on the Lanterns Radio Network. Today is debuting my first show with Lanterns, and I'm so excited to be with you. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Northern Virginia, which about 45 minutes outside the swamp of D.C. I'm married to my best friend, and we have 3 children together, and we live in progressive Utopia, Oregon. I love it out here, except for the politics. That drives me nuts, but everything else is beautiful. I'm a military veteran who served in the Navy overseas on one deployment to outside Iraq and Afghanistan. I am so excited to be here debuting this show. The reason I joined Lanterns was they were not trying to dictate anything that I said. They're constitutional conservatives. They're not looking to push any agenda on anybody, and that was very important to me, and I'm so excited to be here. There's a lot of great content on the website, Lanterns.buzz. I can't get enough of it. Check out all the podcasts, or you can check them on Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud, or TuneIn. This is my first reputable partnership with an organization like Lanterns. I first started my own podcast fighting the local progressive government here in Oregon, and it was a way for me to vent and do what I was giving more citizens empowerment to fight back on the local government. And then I was able to join Lanterns, and I have never been so happy. I've got a jam-packed show for you tonight, and I hope you're as excited as I am. A couple things that we're going to cover starting out is going to be participation trophies, fight for 15 minimum wage, and universal basic income. And I'm going to tie that all together and tell you why participation trophies have led us to a culture of entitlement. I'm also going to debut my new weekly segment of This Week's Keyboard Warrior. I'm going to tell you who I think has been a keyboard warrior, from Congress to any local representative or any person with a large social media following. And I am going to break it down for you guys, and you're going to like it. I really think you're going to like it, because I'm having fun with it. So let's get this show on the road. I don't think a kid, boy, girl, anyone should get a trophy just for showing up. I've been in the coaching world many times for youth sports, and many times that I was not the coach, and I watched these parents come up to their coach, if it's me or an assistant coach, or even if it's a team that I'm not coaching, and ask if the kids are going to get trophies. And granted, some teams might deserve trophies if you come in first place, but the example that I'm giving you tonight is from my son's soccer team when he was in kindergarten. This one mom came up and actually asked the coach, after we have went 1-6, 1-8, we won one game the entire season, and her kids, she had 2 kids on the team, and they ran on and off the field all the time. They had a problem with keeping these kids on the field a majority of the time. She actually asked the coach if they were going to get trophies. My wife had to grab me and stop me from saying something at that current moment. I could not believe she even had the gumption to ask that question. I was shocked. It was just invigorating. How can you even go to someone and ask if you deserve a trophy for being a loser? And my wife fought me on that for a little bit, but she got where I was going with it. And we have promoted to our children, you do not get a trophy for being a loser. You get a trophy for being a winner. For instance, my son's baseball teams have been pretty good lately. They came in second place at a tournament, so they got a trophy, and I have no problem with that. But you do not get a participation trophy for just showing up, running on and off the field. You do not. That is ludicrous, and that's what's wrong with our culture right now. It is horrible. When I coached a youth baseball team, junior midgets, which is age ranges first, second, and some third graders who are new to baseball were allowed to be on the team. We did pretty decent. We kept score. We did a couple innings of coach pitch, and then kids got to pitch. We probably lost 2 games. But it was something that really I am strong and passionate about. We sent an email out to all the parents that said, you know what, we're not doing trophies. We will do dog tags as a memories souvenir or something for the kids to remember of the baseball season. All the parents loved it. They had no issue. Everybody paid, and everybody got dog tags. I mean, I don't understand why, if you want to have a memory of the sports team, do something like that. You got pictures. Do a dog tag. But the trophy is something that kids say, oh, I get a trophy. I get a trophy. Well, not around where I'm coming from. I live in Oregon, progressive capital. And a lot of people feel the same exact way that I do. On preparing for this, I did a little research, and I just Googled participation trophies. And the first thing that came up was a Washington Post article with Bryce Harper. And he's a millennial. He's a 24-year-old superstar who plays for the Washington Nationals. And he, a Major League Baseball player, is completely against these trophies. I bet you 95-98% of professional sports athletes are against these trophies. And they should be. Just like I assume that 95% of parents are against them. That 5%, I would say, this is just an opinion, are for trophies because they are the ones that coddle their kids and tell them how wonderful they are when they say 2 + 2 is 17. It's ludicrous. It is absolutely ludicrous. It's okay for kids to learn how to lose. What are we teaching children if they don't learn to have failure in life? Well, what we get are kids that are protesting in the streets when they get 16, 17, 18, 19 years old for minimum wage. What? What's that? Minimum wage? Or the fight for 15? Like Minneapolis just passed a $15 minimum wage? Oh. Well, crazy thing is that if you look into it, do a little bit of research, and this is just a little bit of research. You go Google McDonald's, and all the articles that will show up when you Google McDonald's and minimum wage are the plans that McDonald's has to put in kiosks in 2,500 locations Well, what does that do for the minimum wage people? That makes you lose jobs. That's what we've been saying since you participation trophy kids have been out in the streets demanding $15 an hour wage. I can tell you, I've been to a couple Taco Bells, McDonald's, and how many times have you gotten your order wrong? More times than you've gotten it right through the drive-thru. And these people think they deserve a $15 an hour minimum wage? I can't help it. This is just too funny. No way. They do not deserve $15 an hour. The free market dictates what your wage is. The minimum wage, in my opinion, is $0. You are not entitled to anything in your God-forsaken life. You are entitled to nothing. You work hard, and the market dictates what you're worth. Right now, flipping burgers, making tacos, getting the milkshakes ready does not take a lot of skill. I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of people out there. Those kind of jobs are minimum skill required. You are having an entry-level job to flip burgers. It will teach you that you want to do something besides flip burgers your whole life. And I can tell you what, growing up in Virginia, once I turned 16, my parents made sure that I had a job. They pushed me out the door to get a job. I worked at a Pizza Hut and a Domino's back to back. I know that's pretty hilarious, but I worked at a pizza place, and I worked my tail off making $6 an hour, and I always went to the boss and said, what can I do to make more? And he always gave me different goals that I had to reach, and I kept meeting them, and I got a 25-cent an hour raise every time I met him. It wasn't every week or every month, but in 2 months, 6 months, you do this, and you'll get a 25-cent or a 50-cent raise. That is the key, I think, for our children for the future, is to motivate our children to do their best and work their butts off to try and perform at a high level. My wife and I tell our kids, if you are going to be a gas pumper, because in Oregon you have to you can't pump your own gas. You have attendants that pump your gas. We tell them, if you're going to do that, you better be the best at what you do. You better smile, you better be fast, and you better be the best at whatever you do in life. And I don't see that happening with a lot of these young folks when I go to different places. It's very difficult for me because I want to tell them, did you get a participation trophy growing up? Did you get a trophy for showing up? And most of these people get a participation paycheck for showing up. That's what they get. And to me, the culture is what we have to fight. We have got to fight the cultural war. We're losing, folks. Being on the right, being a conservatarian is what I describe myself as. We are losing. We are losing the culture. From participation trophies are destroying this culture. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back after this message.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at Lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
Welcome back to the program, folks. I'm going to play you a short clip from Representative Keith Ellison from Minnesota. He is one of, I would say, the big proponents of minimum wage. Here we go.
Yeah, Isaiah.
Hey, Keith.
What you doing, man?
I'm just hanging out, celebrating this win.
What's the news, brother?
We just passed $15.
15, what?
$15 minimum wage.
Hey, man, I've been marching for my 15. Getting paid now, that's what I mean. I need money. That's what I want. Yeah. I need money. That's what I want. The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and the bees. I need money. That's what I want. Yeah, I need money. That's what I want. $15 will do. We gotta get paid, y'all. Thanks for marching. Thanks to the city council. $15. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you guys. You keep it up. We're going to fight here in Washington. You guys are fighting there in Minneapolis. We're fighting all over the country so the American people can get a raise. Thank you very much for your struggle. It's awesome, and let's go get it.
Tell me he was not one of the best singers you have ever heard. Not only is he a progressive Democratic congressman from Minnesota, but he is a fantastic YouTube singing gentleman. One thing, I am a little biased towards him. He or his staff did block me from Twitter. I wear that as a badge of honor, but that was how excited he was that they passed a $15 minimum wage in Minneapolis. I mean, does it get any more crazier than that they're singing songs that the American people are going to get a raise? Wow, folks, we are in trouble. You know what the solution to minimum wage is? The Daily Mail had an article out June 14th. Robot that slice, grill, assemble, and bag 400 burgers an hour are on the way. There is an $18 million funding boost for Momentum Machines first unveiled its autonomous grill master during 2012. Burger flipping bots can do the work of 3 humans and make meals. Now the robotics company has secured $18 million in venture funding. Fight for 15. See, this is to the fight for 15. You guys are pushing this. You guys are the ones that are digging your own grave. You are the ones that are going to see a rude awakening when you show up for your paycheck one day and you get a pink slip letting you know that McDonald's, Burger King, whatever fast food joint you work at, because they will be making them for all fast food restaurants. And I guarantee you the VCs in Silicon Valley are already investing in probably a taco maker, a milkshake maker, any robot that can make low-skilled jobs disappear. It's happening. And then what are you going to do? What are you going to do for work? You're going to get on the government dole. That's not going to last because we're $20 trillion in debt. Well, I think one thing that it will lead to, and it's been being talked about all around the world right now, is UBI is what I like to call it for short, but Universal Basic Income, which I will say right now I am 100% against. But they're doing experiments all over the world. For instance, in Finland, a 2-year experiment launched on New Year's Day in Finland. Kela, the company's federal economic agency, is giving a 2,000 unemployed citizen group approximately $600 a month. The goal will be twofold: to measure how basic income could provide new structure for society, for social security, and to see how people's productivity levels change when they receive the guaranteed stipend. Rewind. How people's productivity levels change? Well, I can tell you what, if I'm getting $600 a month for doing nothing, why would my productivity level change? It's not going to. No one's going to get $600 a month in Finland. And you go to Oakland, California, and the Silicon Valley's largest startup accelerator, Y Combinator, announced in mid-2016 it would soon begin paying out monthly salaries between $1,000 and $2,000 a month to 100 families in Oakland. In the true spirit of basic income, the families range in socioeconomic status and come with no requirement to stay in the U.S. If the pilot is a success, a 5-year trial will follow. So no requirement to stay in the U.S. So you can collect your $1,000 to $2,000 a month and be in Costa Rica on the beaches drinking mojitos at the expense of Y Combinator. Sign me up. Sign me up. Sarcasm, folks. You will get used to my sarcasm, I promise. When government starts doing that, we're in trouble. But if a company wants to do that, sure, why not? That private companies can do whatever they want with their money. That's why they're private. Government should not be doing that. Government works for you and I. Okay, let's go shoot over to the Netherlands. They slated for 2017 the basic income experiment will last for 2 years and involve 250 Dutch citizens on government assistance receiving $1,100 per month. Wow. This I could go on and on about Canada, India, Italy, Uganda. Oh my goodness, what are we gonna do? I mean, how do you think a universal basic income, you're guaranteed money for doing nothing? My wife stays at home with our 3 kids. Our kids range from 9 down to, my little one will be 3 next month. She doesn't sit at home thinking, and and I don't either, that she deserves a basic income for just being alive. That goes back to just common sense to us. How do you think you are entitled to this thing? I take pride in working hard to provide for my family. The ones that are in, for instance, the Hawaii legislature wanting universal income for the citizens are the victims of not only bad parenting, but what I like to call the participation trophy victim. To me, it's shocking that the representative in Hawaii wants to introduce this legislation to get the ball rolling, essentially, on universal basic income for the citizenry. And I just looked up a couple budget issues with Hawaii. Well, right now, there reports out that they're nervous that they might lose some of their federal funding, around $3 billion. So if you're going to lose that, you've got to make cuts. where are you going to make the cuts if you're going to be giving basic income to people who are not working? And what will encourage them to work in the future? Well, let's do this. Let's take a break. And after the break, we'll come back. And I'm going to debut a new segment, this week's Keyboard Warrior of the Week. And I think you are really, really going to love it. Welcome back to the program, folks. I'm going to be, like I said in the beginning, having my weekly segment of this week's Keyboard Warrior. This week's Keyboard Warrior is no other than Representative Keith Ellison. If you pull up his House of Representatives page, the first thing you see is his Twitter feed and his Facebook feed. Well, I can't get on Twitter because he's blocked me, but he's got his little great video of singing, and with a little post that says, "Today, Minneapolis took a big step toward renewing the promise of the American dream." The American dream should mean that in a country this prosperous, nobody who works for their living should live in poverty. Yet today, working a full-time job at minimum wage doesn't lift an American worker out of poverty. It keeps her in it. The Minneapolis City Council approved a $15 an hour minimum wage. I think that's cause for celebration. Maybe even cause for song. So that was the song that I played for you earlier, and I just could not resist because my wife and I were talking about minimum wage pretty in depth over the last couple of years, and this week we just were really talking about it because I was preparing for this podcast, and she brought up a great point, and we always bounce it back off each other, is no one forces you to work at any job. When you go to Walmart, when you go to a fast food restaurant, when you go to Target or any other store where a minimum wage is paid to its employees. It just boggles my mind. So the other reason why I selected Representative Keith Ellison as this week's Keyboard Warrior of the Week is if you get on his Twitter page, you can see where he has hashtag Dems Resist. So I clicked on that hashtag and I was looking and going, well, what is that? I'm actually quite interested to see what it was. So I started strolling down the feed and I come and find a lot of people that are partnering with the DNC that are training people to resist no matter the circumstance. That's my opinion. That is my opinion. But the resistance is not working too well. One thing the resistance is doing very well is protesting. And they are causing multi-millions of dollars worth of damage nationwide. Portland, Oregon, being what's described as the most politically violent city right now, has protesters, what appears to be on a regular basis, protesting everything that comes out of the government's mouth. And I don't agree with a lot of Portland's policies, but the resistance is large in Portland. And the police are responding in riot gear on a regular basis. And the city mayor actually asks the police what's their guiding policy and why are they responding to left-wing protesters in riot gear. Well, Mayor Wheeler, I can tell you why. Because it's a trend that is nationally happening where protesters are damaging millions of dollars worth of property. Is this okay? I'm all for free speech, freedom of assembly, but when you're destroying property That is something completely different, and it needs to be dealt with in an orderly fashion. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and take a break right here, folks, and I'll catch you on the other side of the break.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at Lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.
Check out Lumberlax.com. Lumberlax is a lacrosse company started by an 11-year-old Kai Talley in Beaverton, Oregon. This kid plays lacrosse and uses the money he makes to help other less fortunate kids play. He partners with nonprofits to give money to kids that can't physically play the game at his level or any level due to special needs or illness. This is an amazing thing that he is doing, and he is extremely involved in his community and proud that he does this. Take a look at the website www.lumberlac.com or email them directly at lumberlac@comcast.net and order a custom shaft for yourself or someone else. They also do coaches gifts, team sticks, they work with people to do fundraisers, and so much more. They are proud sponsors of Common Sense Radio with A.J. Davis. Please check out lumberlax.com. But it's for the working people, right? Okay, yeah. Social justice activation. Man, we could go a long way without. Okay, I am tired of politicians. So I want to move on to something that I wrote a blog post for Lanterns.buzz about. USS Fitzgerald Strong. I have been very disappointed. Well, I shouldn't say disappointed. I was very shocked that the news media have not covered this story as much as they should be, with the military being the most important department in our government, in my humble opinion. So, the USS Fitzgerald got struck by a merchant ship. And I have some pictures up on the article, Lanterns.buzz /USS Fitzgerald Strong. Being that I was in the Navy for 4.5 years, and that I worked in 2 different job rates. One was a undesignated airman, where I worked in a maintenance shop that did shipboard maintenance, where I dealt with watertight integrity, which for you non-military, non-Navy people, that means being able to shut a door in case of a flood. Is that one of the things that was talked about with this tragic accident? Was shipmates having to be locked into these berthing spaces, which are basically Navy bedrooms and engineer spaces. Well, being that I worked on 2 aircraft carriers, I had my fair share of, I would describe it as situations where you're sleeping in these rooms with 110 people easily on the aircraft carriers. On the small ships, which the USS Fitzgerald was a destroyer, so a DDG, it was a much smaller ship. So people were even closer, tighter quarters, which, elbow to elbow. It was, I'm sure, even to this moment, people just still cannot believe what happened. Well, fast forward off of that job, I went and got stationed on the USS Enterprise. as an operations specialist. So I dealt with a multitude of different radar, navigation, and communication equipment. And once, like I said, once this accident made the news and it was swirling around for a day or two, I really started reaching out to some of my ex-Navy friends, and it was something, all we talked about was, how do you think this happened? And the first thing that each person I talked to about this said was, there's no way it could have been our Navy guys. There's no way. The radar, the lookouts that we have on a regular basis, there's just no way. There's no way. And it has not been proven to this date that it was our sailors. And it was that merchant ship in a busy sea channel, and I've been through some crazy channels. The Suez Canal was probably my first taste of a reality check for that I'm really part of a war fighting military, when we went through the Suez Canal you're going in between these countries where they have chants of death to America. They have soldiers, they have people watching that ship 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That was a reality check for me. I'm part of some Facebook group pages for operations specialists. So immediately I started checking those pages after this incident, and one of the shipmates that is in charge on the USS Fitzgerald is one that is OSC Lee. He put a Facebook post up. Good morning, all. I'm the current OSC on USS Fitzgerald. First, I will not be taking questions about what happened. I'm sure most of you will understand I couldn't make comments right now, even if I wanted to. Second, the OSs are all present and accounted for, and did their jobs perfectly. But we do live in Berthing 1, which was completely flooded, and we won't be able to go back down there for a while. Most of my sailors had to leave without even being able to grab their uniforms. So their wallets, IDs, clothes, keys, phones, computers, etc. are all gone. We have set up processes to start getting their immediate necessities back. The amount of help so far in getting these sailors back on their feet has been outstanding. What I should ask of every OS on this page is, instead of making false speculations and being keyboard warriors. See, I already like this guy. I already like Chief Lee so much. Keyboard warriors. I'm sure he would say Representative Keith Ellison is a keyboard warrior as well. Not trying to offend, just saying, is to do something useful for my sailors, who I could not be more proud of for their actions, as well as the entire crew. Contact the Red Cross, the USO, the NMCRS, or just send prayers if you want to help. I sent you prayers, Chief, and the crew of the USS Fitzgerald. I sent you many. Please don't make any assumptions or accusations. We don't need that right now. We need support and love. Thank you all. That right there is a leader. He's taking charge of the situation, and he knows it's probably the first time, I would assume, that he has been in any situation like that, because it just doesn't happen. We have the best Navy in the entire world. And the last ship that I can remember that had a serious accident like that was the USS Cole, which at boot camp we train and they beat into your head about the USS Cole. You have to be vigilant. You have to be on your toes all the time. And I think he said it pretty good. Stop making false speculations, and if you want to do something useful for my sailors, donate to the Red Cross, USO, NMCRS, or just send prayers. And there were some multiple reports that came out that some despicable people were trying to capitalize off this horrible accident. And I think brave sailors like Danny are going head first with trying to help their crew. So I encourage anybody, even as of right now, even July 6, 2017, even though it's been a couple weeks since the accident, I encourage you, if you want to donate, send it to those organizations or mail it to USS Fitzgerald, Unit 100173, Box 1, FPO, AP 96665-1280. Send the crew something. They would appreciate and value that for the rest of their life. I remember getting morale boxes on deployment. I didn't even know who they were from, but when you're out overseas, it's a huge morale booster. So Danny sent another update the following day. I want to thank you all for the love and support that has come over the last 24 hours. Everyone keeps asking what to send and what we need, and I honestly don't know right now. We are trying to figure it out. I do still have an incredible bunch of sailors that need training in a sea intensive rate, so I will need help there. I'll keep updating as we figure out more, but we are all OSs. We know what we like. So just send care packages, gift cards, etc. Josh posted how to get that stuff to us earlier. Again, the USO, Red Cross, NMCRS have done an outstanding job, so you can always donate to them. It is getting to us. Thank goodness. Once I read that post, I was just so happy to know that they were getting it. Most importantly has been the love and support of the OS community. We needed it today as we say goodbye at the Angel flight. As OSs, we feel directly responsible. Everyone here knows the burden we bear, so please keep the thoughts, prayers, and well wishes coming. I think that this is what my sailors need most right now. It's to know that they don't carry this weight on their own. I can't begin to express my gratitude to the outpour of love from the community. Thank you all. We have a few more hard days ahead, but are recovering with your love and support. I can tell you, hashtag USS Fitzgerald Strong. We are with you guys and girls. We know it is not your fault. It was not intentional. This was an accident. Those kind of things just, people don't do it on purpose. It's a very sad thing. So I saw a number of people getting a message from, I have no idea. I know it was reposted from a chief in the Navy that was sending it around. And this message that he sent, I tell you what, that is just like Chief Lee, Danny Lee, is what leaders in the Navy I experienced, and leaders that I wish I still had to this day. And this message is as follows. People joke about emergency egress all the time. Quote, we will never need it, end quote. For my civilian family, you have all seen and heard about our Navy ship, the USS Fitzgerald, and its horrific collision at sea. You have heard about the loss of 7 sailors. What you may not be able to understand is what happened in real talk. At the request of some, I will make this more real for you. I want you to pretend all of this laying in bed at 2:30 in the morning, peaceful, with the hum of the fan and the gentle sway of your bed. Imagine you are in a hammock of sorts, or you are on a quiet night shift and suddenly the most terrible noise comes out of nowhere. It's the sound of metal on metal. The ear-bleeding collision alarm sounds. Your bed will tip over, or TV flies across your office, and within seconds your bedroom or office starts to flood. What you need to understand is that you have seconds to escape. You will grab anyone that you can, and you will go faster than you have ever gone. You will go to your assigned location. Imagine meeting outside on the lawn of your house. This isn't a drill. This is real. That water will fill that berthing in less than a minute, because you don't know, is that hole is massive. You just don't know. You do not know how massive that hole is. Your flight and flight instincts will kick in because you have been trained for this very situation. You will have to make sure that you get those doors closed, because if you don't, your entire house will flood. You will, in essence, sink. You have to get the doors closed. But once those doors shut because of flooding, they cannot be opened while at sea. Ships sink because water gets in them. A choice was made. The way doors close to be watertight are called dogging down. And in the weld the doors, or dog and chain, the doors sacrifice those in the berthing for those fighting to save the ship. The pain those sailors are going through right now, the guilt that some may have because they couldn't save everyone, they had to close the doors and keep them shut. The loss of their shipmates, their friends, their possessions, their lives were changed in a matter of minutes. Their battle will forever be bittersweet. They saved that ship. They kept her from sinking. But they will have forever lost 7 sailors, brothers, sons, fathers, friends, amazing men that gave their life to our United States Navy. The forward deployed naval force in Japan is doing everything that they can to support this fighting ship. I'm asking you from the bottom of my heart to do something too. Send them a card, send toiletries, send something, send whatever you would like. And if you cannot send anything, please send them your love, your prayers, and thoughts of peace and strength. The information I will tweet out. You can follow me on Twitter at Oregon Redskin, and I will be tweeting out this information to get out. Because I'm going to tell you what, this happened in June, and it's July 6, 2017. And the media will have you believe that, these sailors are all nice and fine. These sailors are not fine. They need our prayers. They need our help. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to have my kids collect cans to return, and we're going to send gift cards over to these sailors. 7 of our shipmates are in heaven. I can only imagine the burden that these sailors are facing right now. Luckily, I have never had to experience something like that. And I hope no other Navy sailor does. We train in the Navy for every situation. And all that training paid off to save as many lives that possibly could have been saved. It is horrible to lose 7. Do not get me wrong. It is horrible. But we are lucky that we didn't lose the entire ship. Can you imagine what the world would be doing if we had lost an entire destroyer out to sea? Actually, I think I know what they would be doing. They would probably be reporting on President Trump's next tweet. The media does not care about the military, but from an experience that I experienced this week on Independence Day in a small farming community in Oregon, in the trenches of progressive utopia, I believe the American people love the military like there is nothing else on this planet that exists besides them. So my family, we do this parade. You got your Independence Day parades all over the country. Well, we go to the same one every year. I've lived out here about 8 years, so we go every year, and we don't miss it. I really enjoy it. My kids enjoy it. They always have a lot of fire trucks. They have some military, and this year they had a significant amount of military. And we were at the tail end of the parade, and we were kind of at a corner of a street. It goes just through the town, And as soon as the military men made the corner, everybody stood up without any cues and started clapping until every single one of them, service members, passed them. And I'm not exaggerating or making this up. This 100% happened. And at that moment, whenever I noticed it, my heart just said, there are still good Americans here. They love their service members. They love them. I know I do. And everyone that walked by me, I told them, I said, thank you for your service. There's nothing that I can do to repay you for your service. And I know I'm a Navy guy and all that, but I feel like that for every service member that I see. I'm eternally grateful for everything that they risk on a daily basis, because in the world that we live in, military members are prime targets for these terrorists. So, thanks for tuning in on my first show with Lanterns.buzz, and I hope you enjoyed what we talked about tonight. We covered participation trophies and how I think it's leading to everything, the death of our culture, to minimum wage, to universal basic income, and my keyboard warrior of the week was Representative Keith Ellison, and I hope you really check him out. I try to, but like I said, he blocked me. So anyways, have a good night, and I look forward to you tuning in next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard, and have a great night.
You're listening to the Lanterns Radio Network. We are the network dedicated to empowering the individual, illuminating the truth, defending American exceptionalism, and inspiring future generations. Stay connected and get involved at Lanterns.buzz for great radio. Get commentary and news of the day. Lanterns.buzz.